Iran News Now. The relentless Houthi strikes continue to put a strain on global trade. In Yemen, the Houthi rebels have been launching missile and drone barrages, which are preventing humanitarian aid from reaching its intended target and adding millions of dollars to the cost. The significance: the strikes in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, supported by an Iranian dictatorship anxious to arm its proxies, have continued unabated despite the combined firepower of the United States and its allies. A new intelligence report from the United States states that over 65 countries have had their interests impacted, and that 29 large maritime and energy businesses have decided to avoid the area. By mid-February, container transport through the Red Sea had dropped by almost 90%. Most international maritime traffic goes through this channel, which usually makes up about 10 to 15%. Insurance premiums for ships undergoing transit increased to 1% of their overall value during that period. Other routes that circumnavigate Africa add an additional 11,000 nautical miles, 2 weeks of journey time, and $1 million in fuel costs. The months of November through March saw the destruction of almost a dozen commercial ships. There were also a few attempted hijackings. Get up to speed quickly. The Houthis started harassing both civilian and military vessels towards the end of last year. At first, the terrorist group claimed the bombings were a response to Israel's conflict in Gaza. Many of its intended victims, however, are not citizens of the nation. The cargo ship Ruby Mar, which belonged to the British, went down in March. Authorities were concerned that the 21,000 metric tons of fertilizer it carried could cause a catastrophic ecological event. The United States Navy has spent over $1 billion on ammunition so far in its fight against drones that have gone boom in the area, and anti-ship ballistic and cruise missiles. Behnam Ben Tailblue, a senior scholar at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, put it this way: the Houthis' stockpiles are nowhere near exhausted, even as periodic US and UK operations against them continue. Featured in the recently released footage from a joint military exercise with Cambodia in late May are new robot dogs outfitted with machine guns, according to China's official media. China has created artificial intelligence warhounds that can navigate complicated terrain for reconnaissance, aim and fire while in motion. As part of the intensifying technology-driven weapons race with the United States, social media users are sharing an exchange between French President Emmanuel Macron and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni that appears to indicate problems between the two leaders. Reuters saw a draft of the G7 leaders' final communiqué from Friday, which omitted any mention of abortion. Hours earlier, Meloni and Macron had argued over what language to include regarding abortion rights. The video shows Meloni rolling her eyes at Macron and the two shaking hands in a not-so-welcoming manner. Despite French demands that they incorporate the phrase, Italy reportedly refused. Several people felt that the draft statement for LGBTQ rights was weaker than the one that came out of the leaders' last meeting. Meloni accused Macron of trying to gain political points before France's next national election, and the two countries' diplomatic ties took a nosedive as a result of the abortion issue. There have been other instances where a leader's eye roll went viral. In 2017, a video of German Chancellor Angela Merkel seemingly rolling her eyes at Russian President Vladimir Putin went viral. It seemed like Putin was talking about something that Merkel wasn't really interested in, since she reacted negatively to his hand gestures and pocket.